What comes to mind when you think of boxing? Explosive knockouts? Flashy footwork? Now imagine a fighter who's clinical, efficient, and machine-like in their approach. That right there is Soviet-style boxing, a system that shaped champions with a unique blend of science, discipline, and national pride. Let's dive into the cold, calculated world of Soviet boxing. Soviet boxing didn't just emerge, it was engineered. After World War II, the USSR turned sports into a battlefield of ideologies. Boxing became a tool for showcasing the superiority of the Soviet system. Unlike Western boxing, which leaned heavily on individuality and power, the Soviets built their style around precision, control, and technique. It was all about scoring points, not necessarily knocking people out. Trainers used biomechanics, psychology, and data analysis long before they were buzzwords. Fighters drilled endlessly, learning to control distance, master angles, and throw crisp, clean punches. The jab was a weapon. Footwork was calculated. Defense was a wall. Their motto? Hit without getting hit, and do it smarter, not harder. The Soviet system wasn't about stars, it was about systems. Talented kids were scouted young and put into sports schools. Training was centralized, and athletes followed the same blueprint. Workouts emphasized rhythm, repetition, and technique over brute strength. Sparring was frequent, but often light. The goal was to develop timing, accuracy, and strategy, not just toughness. They studied boxing like chess. Fighters would break down film, run footwork drills for hours, and rehearse combinations until they became muscle memory. By the 1950s and 60s, Soviet boxers were dominating the amateur scene. The Olympics, World Championships, and European tournaments were filled with red jerseys standing on the podium. Legends like Valery Popinchenko, who won gold in 1964, or Vyacheslav Lemeshev, known for his counter-punching wizardry in the 70s, became heroes back home. They didn't turn pro. The Soviet system didn't allow it. But make no mistake, many of these amateur champions would have stood toe-to-toe with professional greats if given the chance. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, the boxing world changed. Fighters from Russia, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and other former Soviet states were finally free to turn professional, and they brought the Soviet school with them. Guys like Kostya Tszyu, a Russian-Australian hybrid of Soviet technique and Western aggression, made waves in the 90s. Later came Vladimir and Vitaly Klitschko, who used a textbook Soviet jab and control to dominate the heavyweight division for over a decade. Today, the legacy of Soviet-style boxing lives on through a new generation of champions from Eastern Europe and Central Asia. Alexander Usyk, the Ukrainian southpaw, dances around opponents with elite footwork, timing, and ring IQ. A true product of the Soviet school, refined by modern pro experience. Dmitry Bivol, calm, clean, and technical. His win over Canelo Alvarez showed how powerful fundamentals and footwork can neutralize even the biggest punchers. Artur Beterbiev, Russian-born, now based in Canada. He combines that Soviet technical base with brutal punching power, a rare and dangerous mix. Gennady Golovkin, GGG, Kazakh knockout artist whose footwork and jab are as precise as his power punches. Other rising names like Sergei Lipinets and Bektemir Melikuziev are still channeling that disciplined, economical style. Soviet-style boxing may not have the flash of an Ali shuffle or the brute force of a Tyson uppercut, but it's a style built to last. It's the science of the sport distilled to its purest form. What began as a political project became a boxing dynasty, one that continues to shape champions long after the fall of the Iron Curtain. So the next time you see a fighter calmly dismantle their opponent without breaking a sweat, you might just be watching the ghost of the Soviet system at work. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your fellow fight fans. Until next time, keep your guard up and your footwork sharp.